Welcome to my channel. This is my first YouTube video. My name's Asha. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Today I wanted to talk about how I deal with having eczema. Well, here's my backstory with eczema. So when I was probably like 7, or I don't know, even probably before I can remember, I've always had eczema, which is basically skin rashes that are from any amount of different things. Usually it's from allergies or dust or anything. A lot of people have different symptoms or different effects when it comes to their eczema. There's all different kinds. I'm talking about pretty much, I guess, moderate eczema, but mine has been extreme at times. Before I could remember, I've had eczema on my arms. They usually come in the joints. Most people will tell you that most people get eczema on their hands. These are the most common places to get it, on your hands, any type of joint where sweat can accumulate, your knees, the back of your knees, ankles, stuff like where the joints are. And for me, I wasn't any different. A lot of my rashes were just on my arms. I had a lot of problems with my arms and my legs. So growing up with eczema, I always had low self-esteem because I felt really ugly and itchy and scarred. There would be scars and scabs on my arms, and I just didn't know anyone with it. Like, I didn't know anyone in my life personally who struggled with eczema in the same way that I had it. Like, I saw a lot of people who maybe had, you know, sun rashes, or like maybe got a little bit on their hands, or it was seasonal, you know, that's a different kind of rash too. But eczema for me was all year round, and I just remember growing up wearing long sleeves and pants and being afraid to wear tank tops and shorts. And for the longest time, no one had, you know, ever, because it was a rash or a skin rash, my family never really took it to mean anything extreme. Like, I never, you know, saw different dermatologists or had different treatments or anything. We mostly just figured it out, and eventually mine would come and go. Like, it would heal, then it would get worse, it would heal. So it was never, you never knew. Let's just say it just didn't stay bad enough to go to the, you know, go to get help, basically. So it was 1 week it was really bad, the next week it's healing back up, and it was just a roller coaster for me. And I got to the point where I just got tired of it all, so I would just wear long sleeves and pants. So a lot of, you know, my family or friends didn't even know that maybe I was struggling, having a bad week or having a bad month that time. I think what I really want to tell people is basically that you're not alone, and that even though people don't talk about eczema, or it's like not even in the mainstream, I'm wondering, I will have to do some statistics about how many people actually struggle with eczema. So I feel like a lot of young women and girls probably feel pretty ostracized or isolated because, you know, you don't really know too many people who are struggling with, you know, moderate to severe eczema. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know that you're not alone, and give some tips and advice on how I started to get my eczema under control. Well, I actually wanted to make this video now because my eczema is coming back. So I wanted to like have an example to show you guys, and I don't know if you can see it in this video, but I'll take pictures and show you guys exactly what mine looks like presently. It just started to come back probably a month ago, and I go through, like, now that I've gotten my eczema under control, I can go through dormant stages, basically, where I'm just like, my skin is completely healed over, there's no rashes, and it can go on for months like that where I don't see anything. and sometimes it will come back. This all came from me finding out what my trigger was. There can be a lot of different triggers, but this is probably the first step to figuring out how to get your eczema under control and how to heal and basically cure your eczema. There's different triggers. Basically, it can be seasonal, food, allergies to maybe washing detergent, different kinds of fabrics bother people, dust, pets, hair, and all of this. For me specifically, mine is stress. As soon as I figured that out, it was a life changer for me. So basically my eczema is caused by stress or anxiety. So that's like number one thing, is find out your trigger. So you can do this a lot of different ways by doing like little experiments or tests. You know, start with a certain group of food. Mainly I would say, just to make it easier on the whole food category, you can get an allergy test, which are really expensive. For kind of a shortcut, usually any health related issues involving diet is going to be either sugar, high sodium foods like red meats, and a lot of like potato chips and all the greasy food and stuff. So I would just say cut out sweets and cut out junk food. Start with maybe sweets to see how your skin reacts to that. If you don't see anything probably in a week or so, you can tell. And then probably start on greasy and fat foods like, cheeseburgers and all that stuff. Just try to french fries, cut that out for a week and see what happens. Don't do them consecutively. Probably do give them some time apart to see if you can see any differences. If it is going to be a dietary trigger, then it probably is from junk food, sugar, soda, all that kind of stuff. If yours is a dietary trigger, you might have to start looking into maybe vegan options or pescatarian options, or just start to be more conscious of your diet. It might feel like, oh my god, why can't I eat milkshakes and cookies like every other teenager and young kid? Like, why can't I do all those things? Don't try to think about it as a punishment, but rather a reward. You no longer have these, have to worry about your skin in that way. In the long run, it'll make you so much more happier. Next one would probably be seasonal. See if basically check on, are you more rash prone or eczema prone in the winter, which most people are, because the air is very brittle, it's very dry, there's a lot of humidity because of it's cold. So most people have issues in the winter with their eczema, and then maybe it'll start to let up or even go away in the summer. And then the other ones is more like, again, you can take those allergy tests to see if you're allergic to the different components that might be in the household, or if it's a pet or anything. I found out that I think that I'm allergic to my cat, because every time she was brushing up against me, I would get these like the tingling where you have to itch, and I was just like, where is this coming from? And so I can't brush up against her. She's very, very furry. She has long hair, so she's basically a pet duster. Like she's just built like that. So it's probably a lot of dust and particles that get trapped in her fur, and that's probably what was causing me to itch. The next segment is going to be like my tips on what I use to ease my eczema. Number one is warm baths and warm showers. Baths in particular, this really helped me when I was having severe rashes, like all over my arm and all over my legs. This is what helped me. Now maybe do a video in the future on exactly the measurements, and do a little clip about what I do and stuff, but I'm just going to tell you what I do. I run a warm bath water, not hot. You shouldn't see steam coming up and all that extra stuff, because if your water is too hot, it will actually dry out the skin, because you're basically cooking the skin that is open or wounded, and you don't want to do that. You want to soothe it, and that's why you will use warm water. So run the bath water, warm water, and then for a while I would do oatmeal. Oatmeal helps. If you have sensitive skin, oatmeal is your best friend. And I get like the instant oats, and you can pour it in there. Amazon has the actual oats for the bathtub where you can pour it in, and it's like prepared for the bathtub. It's more powder form, so you're not just actually making oatmeal in the bathtub, so it's not getting all chunky and sludgy at the bottom, but it's actually like just powder form. So Amazon has that. What worked for me, I started using sea salt or Malaysian pink salt in my bath water. It started working, and then later on I figured that it's probably because when you're scratching, you're taking off that top layer of skin that is supposed to protect us from bacteria and all the other stuff, and it's probably the sensation or something within that's making you itch. But once you take off that layer, then you're going to have that other feeling where it's more of an extremely itchy feeling, and that might be because of bacteria. If you have a cut or a wound, sometimes they'll say once it's healing, like a really deep one, it'll feel kind of itchy and kind of like irritated. Well, that's probably what's going on the top of your skin, because that skin that is open basically. And bacteria can sit on that skin and basically cause you to scratch more or cause more irritation, more inflammation, and it just can go downhill from there. So I figured that probably the salt water was getting rid of that bacteria, was kind of like being used as an antibacterial kind of approach. So I was using sea salt in my bath water, and I was soaking that every night and soak every night, and eventually it started to soothe my eczema. And it takes a while, but it actually did work. The next thing I used in bath water that I seen that really helped for me too, but I'd say use this at your own caution. I started using apple cider vinegar on my skin, and again it was doing the whole, because it's bitter, it's got that acid in there, so it was basically being used as an antibacterial. So it was like cleaning that bacteria off my skin so that my skin can come and do the work on its own. But like I said, use this at your own discretion, because if you have open wounds, that the apple cider vinegar will sting. If you are sensitive to that burning, I would not recommend that. I'd actually say the lukewarm water and the sea salt water did not cause any burning, and the oatmeal if you have sensitive skin. But for me, that I kind of like the burning, because I was like, okay, this is working. Like I was like, okay, I can handle this. This is working. And it almost made me not want to scratch because it was already like stingy. But once you get in the bath water, it just soothes it. It runs off your skin so that stinging will end. But the only reason I say use this at your own discretion is because I was using it, and of course this was my first time experimenting and testing this out. And when I used it for probably about maybe 2 weeks consecutively, maybe every night taking a bath, my skin started to lighten. Like it was taking the pigment out of my skin. It didn't hurt, it wasn't scary, but it was like the rashes got lighter, you know, like when you, I guess, put lemon in your hair and it lightens it. It was basically lighting the skin, but it was healing. So it was just getting lighter, and then I was like, oh, let me stop using this, because I don't know what's gonna, like, am I bleaching my skin or something like that? But eventually the skin went back to normal, and all the light spots gained their pigment back, and there was no issue. Use that at your own discretion. The next thing that I have is no heavy oils. Okay, that's my number one thing, because a lot of people, like, if you're having any type of wounds or anything like that, or scars or whatever, what do they say? Oh, put, you know, Neosporin on it, put shea butter on it, put all, you know, Vaseline on it, and you're thinking like, okay, this is gonna heal and soften the skin. No, for me personally. Like, I'd like to see some people try some of these to see if it works for them, but I know that this worked for me, and I'll show some pictures. If my eczema looks similar to what yours looks like, maybe you can kind of use that as some, you know, guidance about if you want to take some of these tips and use them. I would say use it moderately and try to test, you know, patches maybe to see, at least with the vinegar, the apple cider vinegar and the salt water, and see how you like it, or if your skin is too sensitive. So basically I would use that. I would put shea butter on it, put, you know, all the little creams and stuff they have, shea butter lotion, cocoa butter lotion, and all that stuff. And let me tell you, when I put them on after the shower, I would just scratch all of it off. Basically, it was just so itchy and irritated that I would just scratch that oil right off. Later on, I figured all of this stuff is what I figured. I've been Googling eczema cures and eczema tips and stuff, but for some reason it's just not mainstream. All the information is just not helpful, and a lot of it is almost like natural remedies and stuff. They're not like actual medicine. A lot of the medicine that is you use for eczema that is actually, you know, top grade, the medicine and stuff, is actually has a lot of side effects, and that's why it's like basically steroids that you put on, and it can have a lot of negative side effects and symptoms. So that's why a lot of people who suffer with eczema don't even bother with the medical side of things, because I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just not taken seriously in the medical world. Like I said, maybe I have to look at the statistics about how many people actually have eczema. I think because it's not harmful, a lot of people, like, harmful to your health, a lot of people just don't take it, haven't done any real new research, which is really sad. So a lot of my stuff has been experimentation that works, that I feel like, yeah, that I just haven't found anywhere online, any explanations like that. There might be new, you know, science on it, new explanations and stuff like that. Like, I just decided to make a video. Maybe other people have, definitely other people have probably come to the conclusion, some of these conclusions, but yeah, so I basically figured that the heavy oils, that shea butter, that cocoa butter, that, you know, the Neosporins, all the creams and stuff, the creams they tell you to put on there, you know, that anti-itchy cream, I forgot what it's called, it was actually clogging the pores. So not only do you have open skin, but you're gonna lay down a heavy coat of oil on that skin that is already suffocating and is inflamed, and you're going to just close those pores and just close it up. It's basically putting it on. And I figured that was actually making me more itchy and more irritated, more inflamed, because I was clogging those pores, you know. So it's a reason why they tell you to wear, you know, light flowy clothes to bed and all this stuff, so you can keep those pores open and not have that clogged irritation inflamed situation going on. So I actually don't use heavy oils anymore unless my skin is healed over, and then I can use, you know, the shea butter, the cocoa butter, and all that good stuff. But while I have active eczema, I do not use shea butter, cocoa butter, Neosporin, Vaseline, none of that stuff that you can look in it and it says oil. I use water-based lotions. Now this is kind of frustrating because water-based lotions evaporate, so it doesn't stay moisturized for long. So you have to keep putting on, you know, a coat if you want it to stay like that soft feeling. Another thing I gave up is any fragranted, sweet smelling, beautiful smelling, ladylike lotions. Don't do it. Don't put that on your skin. Do not put any of that little Bath and Body Works, any of the little, you know, Rue 21, all the, you know, the Big Lots, all the stuff that you get for Christmas, those little yummy body lotions and stuff. Don't do it. I'm telling you from experience. It has one of the key ingredients, probably the strongest ingredient in there, is alcohol, which is how they get the smell in how they get the fragrance in the actual lotion is alcohol, the alcohol scent in there. Sometimes they have oil-based scents and stuff, but again, that's kind of going with that oil stuff, so I don't typically like to use. And sorry if the lighting is getting really bad. The sun is setting and I'm just talking 100 miles per hour. I don't use anything with the fragrance or with the first ingredient or the ingredient in it really is alcohol. I'm not going to use that because that actually makes your skin burn, and then it's got oil in it too, so now you're burning and scratching and it's just not fun. For lotion is CeraVe. CeraVe has been one of the lotions that actually has the eczema, the little eczema certified stamp. I don't know if you can see the little stamp, but it's a lot of the things that have the eczema certified stamp do not actually work for my eczema, which is very strange and frustrating. But this CeraVe actually works. This one in particular, and I'm going to tell you, it's got all the things that I'm telling you that you want to look for. Moisturizing cream. Oh, where's the word? Moisturizing cream for normal to dry skin, and here it is back here, hyaluronic acid, but basically means water. It's a water-based moisturizer. There's no fragrance and it won't clog pores. It's actually saying that. So I guess this is one of the newer, definitely newer technologies that is helping with eczema. So pick up some CeraVe. This is like one of the ones that actually works, and I actually found this brand from another YouTuber who actually struggles with eczema too. I don't know who she was. It was such a long time ago, but I've been using it and just getting this big ass tub. Yes, getting this. It's pretty expensive, but it lasts. Like, I've had this for probably almost forever, almost like 4 months, 3 to 4 months. So, and it's still not over. I'm still gonna get another month out of this, so it definitely lasts. I don't use it that much because I haven't been struggling with eczema up until now that much, but yeah, that works. I also have for body washes, again, I like to tell you to stick to the same thing. No alcohol or fragrances in the body wash. Dove actually works pretty well. Dove actually works pretty well, but I actually have Dr. Bronner's, which is an all-natural body wash, and it's actually like liquidy. It's not even thick. It just lets you know it won't clog those pores. So try out Dr. Bronner's. And if you have any questions on this video, I know I'm all over the place. First of all, this is my first YouTube video on this channel, and I just didn't plan it out that well. So if you have any questions at all, or maybe you just need somebody to talk to, definitely comment down below and let me know some of your struggles and some of what you think your triggers are. I really want to know. And if you have any tips that worked for you, for your eczema, put those down there too. I'm going to start an Instagram page for people who suffer with eczema. You can ask questions and we can just build a community, because I feel like there needs to be more talk about this. You can still be this beauty queen that you want to be if that's, you know, what you want to do, and have eczema. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You can still be sexy. You don't have to feel like this big itchy scratchy blob of just, you know, pain, and just, you know, I went through that, and I feel like it just needs to be a community for people who suffer with this. So if you like to join that community, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and just stay tuned for my videos. And I'll actually leave my Instagram down below. I don't post on my regular Instagram, it's just kind of like for family, but I'll actually leave that down there if you want to ask some questions over there too. Thanks for watching.